What's up, guys? Langosta and JoJo here.
How's it?
We got another episode, but tonight we have a special guest. I know we've been saying that lately a lot.
I know.
But we have another guest, and she is special, and we're going to be talking about some really cool stuff about fishing here in Southern California.
We are going to be talking about Southern California fishing, and we are going to be focusing our attention on a specific species, that halibut, that flat fish here in California, the California halibut with the Hali Queen.
What's up, guys? Langosta and JoJo here.
We are here.
Rifles, rods, and broads, another episode. And tonight we have the queen of halibut, the Hali Queen. Kat.
Hey, guys.
Kat, welcome to the show.
It's good to be here. It's good to be here.
Yeah.
I'm super stoked to do this, and
Right on.
So we're talking fishing today, guys. I know you guys used to me yapping around about guns and ammo and this and that, but tonight we're bringing Kat's got a couple of her guns out here, and she's going to talk about fishing here in SoCal.
We've been balancing out and going with the season, right?
Yeah, we're chasing game
guns,
according to the calendar,
and right now it's the perfect time. Southern California is going off when it comes to fishing.
Yeah, we had Mr. Friedman, Friedman Adventures here last week. If you guys didn't catch that episode, please make sure you hit up on that. We had a really good episode with him, and he's Mr. 976 Tuna.
Dude, he's awesome. Yeah. And have you met Phil Friedman?
I have not yet.
Gotta meet
He's
Phil.
cool. He's cool people.
He's good people, and he was telling us that the favorite boat that he goes out on is the Independence.
The Independence.
And
Really?
he actually has the Friedman Adventures charter right now.
Yeah, he's out catching fish right now. They're catching the bloody decks.
They are catching some bluefin. So they've got some great video of them. They're just slaying it. Right now, it's just like over this past week, the bluefin bite has just got hot.
Yeah.
And it started with the Polaris. The Polaris started posting some videos and some pictures of what they've been catching, during the nighttime, and their bite got hot. And they had, I think, close to like 100 bluefin on board.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
Wow.
It's like our trip
Bloody decks.
And Phil, he's got his Friedman Adventures charter on the Independence, and they're out on, I think it's a 5-day.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And they started kind of getting into the bluefin as well as the yellowtail and all that stuff. They've been kind of like facing some weather and some rough seas, but they're coming along.
They hit a little chop.
Yeah, we'll introduce you to Phil. Phil's a really cool guy. Friedman
awesome.
Adventures. I mean, it's all over, right? If you're a
Hey, but
fisherman or
you
woman in
didn't have to wait.
California-
She doesn't need a boat, man. She doesn't need a boat. She just came from fishing. So tell us what'd you do this afternoon before you came to the studio?
So I was actually late coming here because I was out catching some flatties.
some flatties.
Yeah, some flatties.
Nice. And how many did you grab?
I caught 3 flatties.
Oh, yeah?
Nice.
They were all different sizes. I caught one that was like 16 inches. I caught one that was like maybe around 18. And then I caught a 21 and a half. And I was like, oh man, it's 21 and a half. And I like closed my eyes and I like threw it back in the water. And I was like, if you were like a half inch bigger, I could
That's
have
close.
halibut.
That's close.
So how long were you fishing?
About like 2 hours maybe.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
You can almost make a living on that if they're a little bit bigger.
Right,
That's
right.
not bad at all.
That's
2
not bad.
hours of fishing, 3 halibut. I'd call that a day.
So off of where'd you go? Without giving your specific hiding location, your secret
The
location.
honey hole.
The honey hole, yeah.
Yeah, don't give out the honey hole.
Yeah, you'll have like 900 people over there with a rod.
Right. So my honey hole is actually not doing so hot right now.
Okay.
And so I've been going elsewhere. I've been venturing all the way up into like Long Beach, which is pretty far from me. I'm in like South OC.
Okay.
So yeah, I've just been like venturing out and finding new spots and new places. And today I found a spot and by some rocks, and I just caught some flatties, and that was so sick. And for me, it's not about the size of the fish or anything like that. Yeah, catching like a 30-inch halibut is so sick, but like for me, it's just catching fish. It's the joy of catching fish. You know what I mean? That adrenaline rush.
No doubt. I think that's kind of like what drives all of us, right? So in terms of like venturing out and you picked a spot, you said some rocks. What was it that like, hey, you know what? I got my rod, I got my reel. This is the spot. I'm going to toss out my line. What did it for you to pick that spot?
So I have the Garmin Navionics app, and I live by it. I'm constantly checking that thing. I'm constantly looking at different depths and how depth changes, and I'm looking for holes specifically. So I'm looking for where it goes from 2 feet to 8 feet, and those halibut are going to be sitting right on that incline. So if I cast out into the 8 feet portion of that, of that hole, and I start reeling in slowly, and I'm dragging my bait, and then I reel in slowly, drag my bait super slow, and finesse it, I'm going to get hit. And today I did on that incline.
3 times.
3 times. And it was so sick.
Wow.
So what is it about the incline that attracts the halibuts, do you think?
So bait likes to swim by. Oh. And I've noticed that. That's an observation that I noticed by myself is and even my friends told me too, the bait, they swim in the shallow water, and those halibut are sitting right on that incline to where that bait can't see them. And then when that bait swims by, those halibut are ambush predators.
Right.
So they'll sit and they'll wait for the bait to swim by. And when the right smelt or right anchovy or right sardine swims by, they're on them.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
So do you use lures or live bait?
I prefer live.
Well, you walk around with live anchovies on the,
Yeah.
on the shore?
Yeah.
All right.
So I carry a bait bucket. I personally use it's by Boat Paddleboards. It's the Boat Kula. And
The Boat Kula.
Yeah, and I've modified it to the point where I've attached my aerator, and I have a hole in there for my aerator.
You got to walk an aquarium.
Yeah, I have a walking aquarium. It's pretty sick.
That's sick. That's cool.
Yeah.
So you prefer live. So you're out there kind of at when you head down, you're looking for bait. Where are you usually picking up the bait from?
I pick off any public dock. I just start rolling up bread into little balls, and I just start throwing bread, and the smelt, they come up. They'll come up and eat them, and I catch them on a sabiki.
No kidding.
So you catch your bait and everything.
Yeah, I catch my bait. Some days it's really hard to get the bait to bite. I have to put squid on the hooks.
Okay.
But these new sabikis that owner gave me, they're called the owner shrimp skin sabikis. I have not had to bait those hooks at all.
Really?
No
The smelt just devour those hooks. And it's crazy because I used to have to go buy squid, and that was $7, and spending $7 every other day, that gets expensive.
Due to the fact that you have this addiction of going fishing every day.
Right.
Everybody has to go
every day.
Every day.
Because the smelt, they only like new squid. They don't like it frozen. They don't like it old. They're very picky about it, I noticed, and they only like it fresh.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
I feel like a neophyte here. Well, I don't know shit about fishing.
I know. I just found out there's a walking aquarium out there, and
No kidding.
roaming the Southern California coast.
That's awesome.
I gotta look it up Yelp and check out those reviews. But we're very happy, Kat, for you to join us today. AKA the Hali Queen on Instagram. And I know you've been influencing out there in terms of women out in the industry of fishing and all those things. So we're super excited to talk to you in regard to your fishing, the style, and the things that you do. And as we kind of got into that in terms of live bait. So what kind of rig are you setting up the live bait on?
So I get a lot of questions about this one. It really depends on the tide, the spot, the current. There's a bunch of different factors. So if I'm fishing a spot that has a ripping fast current, there's rocks, or I'm fishing over a reef, or I'm fishing over structure, and that current's just carrying my bait, I actually play the drift. And what I mean by that is I cast out, say the current's moving this way, I'll cast this way and have that current carry my bait. And I'll use a 1 ounce or a 2 ounce weight and cover some ground, because you're not going to catch halibut if you're not covering ground. Halibut are the fish that, they're lazy and they sit at the bottom and they just wait to ambush the bait when the bait comes to them. So you have to cover ground in order to catch those halibut.
So it sounds like if I was a fish, I'd be a halibut.
Yeah, I'd be a halibut. Oh, it's a lot better when the food comes to you. Right. It's like DoorDash. Halibut are DoorDashers.
So you're using a 1 ounce lead.
Yes.
And then you got that obviously probably tied onto your braid.
Yeah. No. So I tie a leader. I tie a 5 to 6 foot leader. And if I'm fishing over rocks, I'll use a dropper loop. If I'm fishing sand bottom, I'll fish a Carolina rig. If I'm fishing off a boat, I'll fish a slip rig. So a slip rig is just like a Carolina rig. It's a sliding sinker. But there's a special little device. It's like a little clip that goes onto your line, and it attaches to your braid, and it slides up and down, and you can attach a torpedo weight, so you can change out weight really fast. So if I'm on the boat and I start out using 4 ounces, then if the current starts moving and we're drifting too fast, then I'll switch to 6, 8, 10, 12. So I can switch weights out really quick.
So in terms of like your leader, what's your go-to pound
What's your
leader line?
favorite setup?
If I'm fishing inshore, my go-to is 20, but if I'm on the boat, I'm always fishing 30.
20?
Yeah.
20 on the fluorocarbon inshore?
Yeah. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, because halibut, they have teeth.
They
They have gnarly
sure
teeth. And my friend just got bit by one on the boat the other day, and his finger wouldn't stop bleeding.
No kidding.
Oh, he stuck his
Yeah.
finger in its mouth to hold it or something like that.
Yeah.
Wow,
and
so that's hardcore.
That's a one-time event.
Fishing
It's a
at
one and
20,
done.
huh?
That's cool.
And they give when you reel them in halibut head shake. They'll give crazy head shakes. So you always want to go with a thicker line if you're learning how to catch halibut. Because they'll give those head shakes, and that can snap your fluoro super easily.
Yeah.
I've had it happen to me like plenty of times. So
Do you have a preference of hooks?
yes, I only fish owner hooks.
Right on.
What size? What
I
type?
fish size 1 SSW straight eye hooks.
She had that on the top of her head.
I swear by those.
Uh-huh.
I fished before I was with owner. I fished like mustad hooks, and I had issues with them rusting. I had issues of them breaking off when I'm trying to remove a hook with, from a halibut's mouth with pliers. I've had issues with hooks snapping, so that, means that the fish is in extra distress because I'm trying to get another segment of that hook out. The owner hooks, I've never had them break. I've never had any issues with them. So, and they're super sharp. So
That's cool. Awesome. So you brought a couple of your guns with you. You want to show people what you got there?
Absolutely. So this is my favorite rod of all time right here.
You're probably going to have trouble with that kind of figuring out the space within the room.
This is a 7'11", so it's pretty long.
In our massive studio here.
Right?
Massively small.
Okay, so this right here is the Major Craft Benkei Reloaded. This is the 711 model. It's their heaviest model that they sell. I love this rod so much. It's just great, and I can feel everything. I can feel the little halibut nibbles. So when halibut bite, they don't just bite. They start nibbling on your bait, and then if they feel a hook or anything strange, they'll spit it.
Huh.
So when I'm making my bait selection in my little walking aquarium, I'm making sure that I pick a very lively smelt, or lively anchovy, because if it's not lively, if it's not swimming perfectly, the halibut's not going to want to eat it.
Yeah, they're like, that's fake.
Yeah.
Or not fake,
Right.
but like I'm not falling for that one again.
Right. Yeah.
So you have a pretty sensitive end here, right? So
Yes.
that's the deal, right? Like,
Super
that's strong.
sensitive, but this rod has a lot of backbone. So if I want to take this out on the boat, I actually can. I can actually catch like yellowtail off this rod. It's that sturdy. So I can catch like a wide variety. I can feel the small halibut, and I can feel the little nibbles to the bigger halibut. And the thing is, when a halibut is nibbling, you can't tell the size. If it's a 40-inch or if it's a 10-inch halibut, you can't tell the difference.
It goes from 0 to bent rod.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And you have to give them as much line as they need. So when I'm fishing halibut, I fish primarily in free spool, actually.
Oh, okay.
So my reel is never in gear unless I'm reeling the fish in. But when I'm finessing the fish on to bite my hook, I'm always in free spool. I'm dragging a little bit, and then I'll close my rod. I'll close my reel in a little bit, and then go back into free spool and feel those little tugs. And then when I'm confident the halibut starts running with my bait, which sometimes they do, sometimes they just sit on it.
Yeah.
Then I'll go ahead and give a slight pull, and that'll set the hook.
And then it's game on.
Then it's game on, And I noticed the bigger halibut, they come in like a dog on a leash, but the smaller halibut, they fight.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because those bigger halibut, they've been used to kind of just sitting around being lazy and waiting for the bait to cross them. So, they get a shock if they find out that they're hooked.
Right.
Awesome.
So, well, what's the largest you've caught on this setup here?
On this setup, I caught a 28.
Wow.
Which is not my biggest. The biggest halibut I ever caught personally was 30.
Okay.
I want to go bigger, but for me, it's again, it's not about size. It's about like quantity of fish.
Yeah.
So you're saying this gives you the most flexibility in like different size fish, different terrain, different spots.
Yeah.
Right.
I can fish anywhere with this. The only place that I wouldn't recommend fishing with this is in the surf, which is why I brought a surf rod.
Bring it out.
This is my Major Craft Triple Cross. This is a 9-footer, so we might have space issues with this one.
Just bring it over the mic.
This rod is super sensitive.
The Major Craft
Triple Cross.
Triple Cross.
Yeah, this rod is super fun. It casts a mile. I've never had a rod that casted farther than this one.
You get into the 9-foot, 10-foot range, and on a nice spinner, and you can toss that thing out.
Oh yeah, I can toss
very far.
I can toss Lucky Crafts, which they're 5/8 of an ounce.
Yeah,
I can toss them easily like 100 feet with this rod. They just go. And I have a video of me tossing Lucky Crafts with one of my friends that works for Major Craft, and you can see they just take off with this.
So is Major Craft here in California?
No, they're actually from Japan.
No kidding.
They're huge in Japan. They're huge in Hawaii. Out here, they just started having a U.S. presence. So
I like it. Love it.
it's great. I've noticed that Japanese rod construction is the best. Like
meticulous.
Right. You can't go wrong with Japanese rod construction. Like the guides on these rods, the material they're made out of, the durability, the sensitivity, everything like that. Like Japanese rod construction is like next level. And I'm not saying that to sell a product. I'm just from my own observations, I've noticed that that's true.
So what's the price point of this, of the rod itself?
I believe these are both very close to 200.
So it's really affordable.
Right.
It's not like it's an insanely expensive
It's
rod.
not like you're buying a G Loomis, which that's like $500 for one for an inshore rod.
As soon as it says G Loomis, it's like, okay, I've got to kind of turn away.
Right.
I mean, eventually, one of these days, maybe, you know,
Right,
I'm a collector. I'd be like spending that much on like a surf fishing rod or something like that. I'd be like, yeah, that's.
I wouldn't surprise me if you did it. You love surf fishing.
I do. So
he's a total surf
I
fisher.
picked up a Phoenix trifecta.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, last year, the 9-foot, and I love that thing. But Major Craft, so Major Craft in terms of like the tackle shops that are here locally, I haven't necessarily seen them around. Are they're making their way to Southern California and California?
Yes, so they're pretty much in every like tackle shop. I know my tackle shop, Tackle Express. We have a wide variety. These are both from Tackle Express. We have a wide variety of Major Craft rods. Big Fish in Seal Beach has a wide variety of Major Craft. Shark Bait, I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. They have Major Craft. Like I know a lot of retailers have Major Craft right now.
Awesome. I'll have to check it out.
Well, it's a good shout out to your local shop.
My credit card is kind of just like jumping out of my pocket right now.
Well, just let it loose. Let it loose.
Yeah, let it loose. I'm pretty damn good at letting it loose.
Listen, man, the problem is if you don't have a rod, you can't go fishing, bro.
Right.
This is like the only,
And if I head down to the beach, I just can't have one rod. I just can't have two rods. It's like, oh, okay, let's find the right one for the moment. So.
These are the afflictions of the sports folk.
And then the other thing that I cannot stress, and I'm helping my girls too, and I went with one to Tackle Express, and I helped her pick out rods. Is you cannot cheap out on a fishing rod. It's just quality matters.
100%.
Yeah, quality matters.
I 100% agree. You take out a couple of rods out surf fishing, and you can definitely tell the difference.
Right.
The moment that you just cast out that line, you can tell right away, like, oh, that's where the money went.
Right.
So it's good.
Well, it's like that with guns. It's like that with optics. It's the same thing. Like when you're beginning, right? You don't know anything, so you don't know how bad your rod, how shitty your rod really is, right?
Right.
You don't know how shitty your rifle really is,
right?
Until you line up next to somebody who's got a good setup, and you're
right.
like, damn, it's pretty kind of shitty.
Yeah, it's
kind of shitty. But
that's
you got to start somewhere.
Claw was great,
or Yeah,
and
what
then
is that? The Big 5 special?
Yeah,
right.
I totally bought this with a 5% off coupon from Big 5 that came into my email twice today.
You go to what is it, eagle claw, and then you try like an owner hook, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is a night and day difference.
It's so different.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, like you can't stab the bait. It's not sharp enough to stab the bait. I've had that. I remember my dad was so cheap. My dad has always kind of tinkered in hunting and fishing and stuff, but he never like dove in like hardcore, right? So it would always be like a starter set. So I remember we went fishing. This was freshwater fishing, and he bought like the whole thing for like $20, right? Rod, reel, line, bait,
Comes
whatever.
with the floater.
First fish we catch, everything disassembles by itself.
Oh, no.
Inadvertently, the rod comes off, the fucking thing comes off the reel. Like, what the fuck am I doing here? It's a shit show. And, it was really entertaining for the other people that were by the lake, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're looking at me. It's like it's fucking embarrassing, right? It's like your shit just like it just disassembled as soon as you got a stupid fish on. So not only did you not get the fish, you're cussing.
Yeah.
Like you drove out to the middle of nowhere for 4 hours to go so-called fishing, and then the stupid fish was dumb enough to bite your dull hook, your spoon of a hook.
Yeah.
And you disassembled the whole thing in front of you.
It wasn't even Zebco, it was Sebco.
It was, I mean, we laughed at that for like years. It was really funny. My sister was like, what the fuck's going on here? She's like little. She's looking at the whole thing come apart. She's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And everybody's yelling, the fish is almost up on the rock on the bank, and it's just, psh.
And your pops is like, well, that's fishing. They don't call it
My
catching
dad's
for
like,
a reason.
Throw it back in. Let's see what happens.
I remember like 2 years ago, I just got back into fishing, and I decided to take it seriously. And so I bought a Walmart rod just because, I didn't I didn't think it was going to end up where it is today, and I just wanted to go fishing one day. And I caught a mackerel, and my rod just disassembled.
There you go. See, it's a one-time use.
That was a big mackerel.
See, that's why she's laughing. It happens to everybody.
It's the biggest mackerel I've ever caught. It was
You
like
think
the size of
that
a
$35 rod is cheap. What you don't know or you don't realize, you're going to need 10 of them to get through the
Right.
season.
Yeah.
You need to buy
And
in
I
bulk.
ended up having to hand line the mackerel.
Well, that's gangster. Yeah. That's old
And then
school.
I went out. I finally bit the bullet, and I was like, okay, if I'm actually going to do this, I went to Bass Pro Shops, and I bought myself a St. Croix.
Oh.
Nice.
And I bought myself a Tranks 150, and I've never had problems with that. It was expensive, yes, but that rod is still in really great condition today, 2 years later.
Yeah.
So I can't complain.
So in regard to like you starting fishing, you said 2 years ago you got back into fishing.
Mm-hmm.
So when did the fishing bug bite you? Did you grow up fishing, or what was it for you?
So I grew up at a yacht club, and I watched all these men fish. And I told my mom, I said, hey, Mom, I want to do that. So she walked me up to a guy, and like a random guy, and she's like, hey, can you teach my daughter how to fish? And that was pretty cool, and I learned how to fish. And then she took me to like a bunch of little lakes and stuff like that, and I learned how to fish there and catching bluegill and stuff. And then I got into saltwater fishing like just 2 years ago. So I'm fairly new to this, and the whole reason why I have my Instagram and stuff like that is to really document my journey. It's not really to I'm not in it for like likes or anything like that. I'm just in it to like document my fishing journey, which is why 2 months ago I had 60 followers, and I was perfectly okay with that. I'm like, yeah, I caught a halibut, or I caught a cool bass, or I caught, this and that. And I just wanted to take pictures of it and keep it as like a photo journal. Mm-hmm. And now I had one video blow up, and that changed my whole life. I didn't even expect any of this to happen, which is crazy.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So how did it get to the point where, you started fishing again 2 years ago, you really got into saltwater fishing 2 years ago, and then what made it like, I'm going to target halibut?
I started catching like mackerel and perch and bass and all of that. And then some guys on the dock that is right by my house said, oh, like halibut are rare. And I'm like, I want to catch a halibut. So I spent 1 year trying to catch my first halibut.
Wow.
Yeah.
So starting 2 years ago, I'm doing the math. So 1 year ago, you caught your first halibut.
Yeah. Last July.
No kidding.
It was my first ever halibut was 22 inches on the dot.
No.
Yeah. So I took it home and I ate it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And halibut happens to be pretty good eating fish.
It's like,
Dude, it's great.
so expensive in restaurants.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that got you hooked then.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was just like, oh, I heard it was rare.
Yeah.
I caught one. It was 22 inches. It was legal. It tasted good. Boom, boom, boom. One
Yeah.
thing led to another.
And then I was talking to one of my friends, and I started catching halibut like on a daily basis, and she's like, "Girl, you're the Hali Queen." I'm like, "What?" Like, no, I'm just.
I'm glad you're leading into this because I was
Yeah.
going to ask that
That was-
question.
that was
Like,
the next
how did
question.
the Hali Queen come up?
Like, I didn't name myself the Hali Queen. Actually, one of my friends, she told me, she was like, "You're the Hali Queen," and I'm like, I'm gonna take off and run with that. That's an excellent brand name. I'm gonna do something with that because that is such a good name. I don't know. It's cute. It's cool. Like, creative.
Totally.
Like, I'm not that good at coming up with names and naming things. Like, but she knocked it out of the park, and that was pretty cool.
Right on.
Yeah.
I mean, from a brand perspective, that all makes sense. And
Yeah,
it's
it's
funny,
cool.
too. Like, I mean, when you learn about the species of fish that you're targeting, and I'm pretty sure you know this already, now whenever you go out fishing, that's what you're targeting, and that's what you're catching.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious, too. You do like to use live bait, but when it comes to, using plastics or what have you, kind of what's your strategy around that game and catching halibut?
Oh, I use white flukes. I use those Zoom 5-inch white flukes on a 3/4 or 1 ounce jig head.
Oh, so you're like everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but she knows how to use it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Fluke it till you puke it.
It's
That's
crazy how halibut just love that stuff.
right.
They love that white fluke, and it's just like you toss that on there, and it's like, okay, you're targeting halibut.
And you know what I've caught when the fluke isn't working? I've used the Gary Yamamoto. They're like the little white grub curly tails.
Yeah.
And those work so well.
But you've got to play that action a little bit different though. Or are you using the same action in terms of like you're throwing it out there, kind of using the current? Are you using more of like
same
a
thing.
faster?
I use the current. I only reel in when I'm done with my drift.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay.
So do you walk it too? If you drift it, will you drift along the shoreline?
Oh, I just cast out and just let my lure or bait just drift, and then when it ends up on the other side, on the shoreline,
Yeah.
then I reel it in, and then I do it again, and then I do it again.
I gotta tell you guys have so much patience. I can't do that.
Dude, it's so much fun.
I get it, but I can't do that. You guys could do that for 3 hours.
Oh yeah, easy.
all day.
Yeah, I
Easy.
couldn't do that. I just couldn't do it.
So I love surf fishing. I
Yeah.
grew up in Hawaii. So in
nice.
Hawaii, like all the fishing that I used to do, we call surf fishing in Hawaii is called whipping. So you're
Right.
basically off of the reefs, and you're out on the sand, and you're just rod and reel just like this, and you're catching all kinds of different fish. Papio is what you're after, and that's like the Jack Trevally, like the what do they call it? Like juveniles, the small ones.
Okay.
But you catch those whipping. So when I moved here to California 10 years ago, there's the beach right down the road. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna grab a rod or reel and go surf fishing. So when I got into it, I started catching down at the beach, and I caught a halibut.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
it was freaking awesome. I was just like, oh my god,
It's
what
flat.
the hell is this? Like I thought it was a dinosaur. Like I'm fishing Hawaii, I don't know what the hell
Right.
a halibut is, right? So I caught a halibut. It was actually one of those crocodile lures.
Really?
So it wasn't even after the plastics. I was just out there, just kind of tossing it out there. I was catching yellowfin croakers. I caught this nice size striper one time, and then a halibut bit the line. But so I surf fish a lot, and
He's
therapy,
caught
man.
lobster.
Wow.
Lobster. Well,
Wow.
yeah. It's like, what is that? That's a fucking lobster. I mean, it was a short lobster tossed it back in, but
Hey, it lives in the ocean.
I'm like,
man.
dude,
Whatever
you're not
lives in the
supposed to
ocean
catch a lobster.
is
Like, what's
subject to the game.
yeah. Well, he has so much patience. He just goes, like you said, over and over and over again. Run, he'll cover the ground and then start over again. I'd be like, dude, I need a beer. We're wrapping this up right now.
Yeah, I've got those in my back pocket.
Yeah, I got it in the backpack. So that's pretty cool.
And
Yeah.
the one thing that people don't realize about lures is when it comes to halibut, it really, white's great because like you get a higher chance of getting bit. But to be honest, if you just put anything in front of their face that looks like food, they're going to go for it. They're like garbage disposals.
Yep.
Yeah. If you just put it in front of their face, they'll go for it.
Well, that's kind of like what I found, right?
Yeah.
It's like you put it in front of them. I've even tossed out like the Castmasters with the white feather tails, and they love that stuff. And it's just a fun fish to fight.
Yeah.
Especially in the surf. And like I said, I'm mostly surf fishing, but it's always nice when you catch a halibut and as the waves are kind of coming in and you just see that white belly.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Score.
I got something that, I wasn't really expecting, because whenever I'm fishing down in Torrance, it's always like, it's like yellow croaker central. 99% of the time you're going to have a croaker on your line. But there are those times where it's just like, this feels a little bit different. And when you see that kind of white belly kind of going over, and and you've been surf fishing before, so you're really playing the waves, the current.
Only
so
like
as it's
4
coming
times.
in, oh, you got to go more. But it's always nice, kind of being able to score that halibut. But it does interest me when it comes to the plastics. They love that white.
They love white. I don't know
have,
what it is.
I have no freaking clue what it is. But even if you go out on the boats, what are you bringing? If you're not using live bait.
Flukes. And then...
And what color?
White. And then my friend also put me onto this bucktail thing.
Bucktail?
It's like it's a jig head with like a little skirt. Like
yeah.
Like a strings, or like, I don't know. It's like...
Kind of like if you're bass fishing, like a spinner lure.
Yeah, like one of those, but it's like a fabric skirt, and it kind of sticks out. And then I just attach a fluke, like a 5-inch fluke, to the back of that, and that thing works really well. I put squid on the hook too, so it smells. And then that's also like a halibut magnet. I've seen my friend catch like 45 inchers on a bucktail.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So of all the styles of fishing for halibut, what would you say is your most favorite style?
Live bait.
Live bait where? From like the jetty, the pier, the shore, the boat?
From the jetty.
From the jetty.
Yeah, live bait, because I've noticed halibut love rocks. I don't know what it is. They love rocks, and they love sudden depth fluctuations. They love both of those. So, if you find a hole, you're probably going to find halibut.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if somebody were going out there kind of onto the jetty, and obviously, for most places, it's going to go from shallow and then to more depth. So are you kind of going more far out onto the jetty and then casting inshore? Or are you just kind of creeping a little ways out and then kind of like where would you say is your perfect spot?
30 feet from the sand.
Yeah?
Yeah. Very shallow.
And you going back in to shore, casting back inshore, or are you just
Casting along
out?
the beach.
Okay.
And then
awesome.
doing that slow retrieve. Yeah, I'm going to get bit. But the thing is, too, like, I'm a lazy fisherman. Like, I am very lazy. So if I am too lazy to catch bait, I use plastics. Mm-hmm. Catching bait is a lot of work, and not just catching bait is a lot of work, maintaining bait is a lot of work. You need water changes I water change every hour. Some people do it every 2 hours. I water change every hour because I don't like my bait to die. I treat my bait like gold. So, yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much what it is. When you're really into fishing and you're talking and using live bait, that's exactly what it is. It's gold.
Right.
Right? Like
right.
Whether or not you're fishing from shore with live bait, if you're, fishing from the jetty with live bait or on the boat with live bait, your life of fishing depends on
100%.
Is that
The
bait
quality of the bait.
moving?
Right.
The quality of the bait is
It's so important, because if you got a fish that's like freaking half dead and it's just like buh, buh, I mean, who the hell is going to be attracted by that? But you got something that's
nobody
like
wants to limp noodle, bro.
moving.
Nobody wants to limp noodle.
Bam! I
Yeah.
need me some of that action.
For sure.
Yeah, I just spent my friend, she was so kind enough to buy me a new aerator, and it's like a $34 aerator just for an aerator, which is expensive because you can get them for like $14, $10, but the $30 aerator is the one you really want, especially if you're using like a 5-gallon bucket. And I notice my smelts are so much livelier and so much happier. Like, if I keep my smelt happy, I'm happy.
They're happy for a short period of time.
Right. Right.
So you march
Give
them
them a
into the
good life
jaws of
until they
death.
have no more life at all.
Jaws of death.
Right.
Little happy little fish.
Right.
Just got swallowed whole.
Oh man. So it's awesome. And one of the things that, why we wanted to have you on the show and talk about it is obviously our show really focuses on California, Southern California, hunting, fishing. And it's so awesome kind of seeing women influencers coming up in the industry, because a lot of people can look at this industry in terms of like hunting and fishing as a male dominated industry. Right. And with social media and so many things that have come out, there's so many people that are out there, women that are really influencing, younger females or females to kind of get outdoors and, go fishing or go hunting. And why it's important to me too is because I've got 2 young daughters, right? One's 15, one is 11. I love taking them out, but guess what? They're not influenced by daddy. But if they saw, women online and girls having fun,
it's a totally
fishing,
different deal. It's a totally different dynamic.
It is a totally different dynamic.
Yeah.
And, you look at some of these influencers that are online right now in terms of like fishing, and there are a ton. One of my favorites that I'm influenced by is Kimmy Warner. Have you heard of Kimmy Warner?
No, I have not.
So Kimmy Warner, she's not. She doesn't really post a lot about like just surf fishing or fishing, but she's from Hawaii. She's from Maui, where I'm from, and she's a spear fisherwoman.
Oh wow!
And she
hardcore.
Is deadly.
Wow,
like
hardcore.
She is hardcore.
Spearfishing is a different deal.
And it's
different.
Bro, like, and you got to check her out.
I will.
You gotta check her out. You gotta follow. Kimmy Swimmy is her Instagram handle.
Okay.
And,
Kimmy Swimmy?
Yeah, Kimmy Swimmy.
I like that. That's so
Kimmy
cute.
Swimmy.
Yeah.
Not as cool as the Hali Queen, but Kimmy Swimmy. She's awesome. Some other spearfisher women like Valentine Thomas, like they're coming out, they're posting, and they're influencing, right? And I think it's definitely made a difference. In terms of getting, females out there into the sport, and for people that are out there, we see them out there fishing more and more, and I think it's freaking awesome. Because, like I said, I'm trying to influence my daughters, but I told you earlier, I was like, hey, I'm just gonna send my daughters with you and take them out fishing, and they'll probably like do it a lot more than going
Dad.
out
I need a credit card. We're going to the.
It's Apple Cash now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get texts every day. Hey, Dad, can I have like $25 of Apple Cash? I'm going to go to Taco Bell after school. I'm like,
Sweetheart, it's not Apple Cash. It's Daddy Cash.
Right.
Daddy Cash. But,
So do you ever get any grief from guys about your adventures?
Oh my gosh, all the time. It never stops. And the funny thing is, every single female that is in fishing and has a fishing account, or even doesn't even have a fishing account and just fishes on like sport boats or wherever, like they get hate. And it's so common. It's not just me. Like, it's every single female, because it's such a male-dominated sport.
Yeah.
And right now, I made a mistake, and I fully take accountability for my actions. But like, I'm getting reamed by like 40-year-old men, and it's the funniest thing ever, because I'm like, guys, you really don't have a life. Like, you know what I mean? You're sitting there, you're a little keyboard warrior, and you're blowing up my Instagram trying to get a reaction or something like that. You're not gonna get it.
So what's the controversy? Did you mishandle the fish?
I did. I mishandled a white sea bass. It was my first ever white sea bass, and to be honest, like, I don't know if you're supposed to grab them by the lip. I don't know how you're supposed to grab them. Yeah. So like,
you're a halibut. You're the Hali Queen.
I just know halibut and I know bass a little bit, but I didn't know anything about this white sea bass, and
did the sea bass make it alive back into the water?
I mean, it swam away, but I don't think it lasted that long, unfortunately.
We'll never know.
Yeah.
Well, the beauty of the ocean is that everything gets recycled pretty
Right.
quick.
And the
There's
other
nothing that
thing.
goes. There's not much waste.
There's
I mean, if
zero,
you and I
man.
hobble or wobble out there,
Hell,
enough,
bottle
like,
caps don't get wasted.
Yeah.
nothing gets wasted out there. It
You
gets
know, and the
recycled.
other funny thing too, like, I mean, it wasn't funny. It was really sad, but the seal was right there too.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's just.
So I
Thank you.
am fully responsible for feeding.
I
the
think
seal.
that if the seal had an Instagram account, he'd give you a 2 thumbs
Yeah.
up. You're like, thank you, Hali Queen, for dinner.
Like this post.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, it's like, every single every single person that's posted a negative comment recently, and I haven't read like the majority of them.
And don't.
Because it's not like worth my time.
At all.
I've gotten instruction from my sponsors to delete every single negative comment.
Yeah.
So I just, it's either me or I have another friend that looks out for my account too, that just delete. I don't even read them.
Yeah.
I mean, and I've even gotten death threats, and I'm just like, yeah, I've gotten death threats,
Like,
and it's
we're gonna
crazy.
kill you on behalf of the White Sea Bash Association.
Right. Somebody said,
And their handle was at PETA.
Oh
right?
my God.
Somebody even said like, oh yeah, I'm gonna treat you just how you treated this fish next time I
God.
see you. And by the way, that fish didn't live. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you
No.
guys are really that serious.
He didn't live. He was sea lion bait.
Right.
But I don't know. What are you to do with people like that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, in all honesty, every fisherwoman out there knows that we've all come across those experiences.
Right.
Like if your goal is catch and release, most of the time you're going to catch and release, right?
Yeah.
And then there's going to be those small times where it's just like, well,
Catching it didn't make it.
things happen,
Right.
The
Right.
guy was really hungry and he really took that bait and it ended up at the back of his or her
They
throat.
swallow it
and
deep
was
enough.
like,
It's not going to go well.
yeah, and I had a similar experience. So whenever I go surf fishing, I'm a catch and release guy. And I was
Okay.
like, okay, well, whatever I catch,
Mostly because our
I
fish down
normally
here are
release.
contaminated.
Right.
They're unedible.
Yeah,
Mostly
it's yellowfin
unfucking
DDT. But I had a corbina. I was fishing out in Orange County around the Seal Beach area.
Okay.
And I caught a corbina, I mean, I love catching corbina. Like to me, they're elusive. So when you catch one, it's just like, oh yeah, I feel you feel like you actually know what you're doing. But caught one, and then I went to release it, and it just wasn't going anywhere. And I was just like, oh buddy, it's like go with the current. And
Breathe,
didn't make
boy,
it.
breathe.
But I kind of felt obviously responsible. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm brought him back in, right? And took him home and cooked him. And
Now, I've heard
Good as
Corbina's
hell.
good eating.
I
was
heard
good.
it's really good.
When it
eating,
doesn't have
too.
DDT. The DDT free ones are great.
well, you know what? Maybe it did, and I just don't know about it. And hopefully, it made me smarter. But no, I steamed that thing up.
If
It
mosquitoes
was
bite
awesome.
you and you see them fall and like die after, it could have been a DDT action.
But any fisherman that's out there knows that like things like that are going to happen.
Right.
So in regard to that.
I don't even care. And the other thing is too, like, I mean, I do care because it's my brand, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, I view this as like my work life and stuff because,
Yeah.
I am making income off of
Well,
this.
you're putting
but,
in
like,
some hours every single day.
right. And the other thing is too, is like, these haters and stuff, you're putting money into my pocket. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, share, and subscribe.
So thank you. Thank you, haters, for number one, helping me grow.
Yeah.
And number two, helping me grow financially too.
Yeah.
Can you tell the outrage? The Hali Queen is catching halibut. She's catching halibut. She's keeping some of them. She's throwing some of them back.
Ridiculous.
Right.
The amazing thing is the amount of how people get worked up over such insanely insignificant things.
Right.
Yeah, people unfortunately just kind of get a freaking kick out of that, right? Like, there's so many people out there nowadays that kind of they get their own happiness through somebody else's misery,
Right.
and it's just like, can we just all be happy?
Right.
One of these
Like, can we
days,
just all wear a smile
Can we
on
all
our
be
face?
grown adults? Like
Yeah.
that's and the funny thing is, a lot of these men have kids, and I'm like, because I've heard like someone told me like, oh, like I know that guy that posted that comment, and I'm like, I didn't even read it. What did they say? And they're like, oh yeah, they have kids and everything. They have daughters. And I'm like, they have daughters and they're posting on a woman's, like, aren't you trying to like inspire your daughters to do something great with their life? You know what I mean?
Well, and enjoy the outdoors, right? Like the outdoors is not a gender thing, you know. No. It just isn't. You know, it's open
out there for everybody.
It's open and free for everybody. So
like, before my account blew up, like I wasn't in this for sponsors, or I wasn't in this for money, or I wasn't in this for likes or anything like that. It was just my personal journey of posting and catching fish. And it was just my little, you know, photo wall and stuff. And I like making videos because I did corporate videography for a little bit, and I did audio engineering for a little bit. And, you know, I like making videos, and I just did it for myself. And then all of a sudden one day it just blew up, and I was like, okay. And then now it's like, wow, like life has changed a lot. And, you know, it's like, this is a full-time job for me. I view it as a job. I view it as work. But, you know, the other thing, too, that I really want to touch on is, like, I really want to empower women through this. And I want to empower, like, women and, like, and all of that, and just, you know, show that they're, hey, like, women are here. Like, we're here in the fishing industry. And we can fish, too. Like, and I'm not an expert in anything by any means. I'm still learning. You know, I've had really amazing teachers, and, you know, there is someone like that taught me everything that I know, and that person is absolutely amazing. And, you know, how I met him was I was at this one spot and I saw him catch 4 legal halibut, like back to back to back. And I was like, I want to do that. Yeah. And so he taught me everything that he knows. And it's insane. Like, I'm still learning from him, and now I'm learning surf fishing, and I'm gonna learn tuna fishing and yellowtail fishing, and, you know, really, for me, it's a learning journey.
So talking about that though, who influenced you?
Who influenced me?
Yeah.
A couple, like this one girl, her name's Sway. Her Instagram is Fishing This Way. Okay. She's amazing, an amazing person, and so knowledgeable and so talented, and she just got the social media thing down. For me, I'm still learning it all, and like learning how to like post and what to say and interact on camera and stuff
Fishing
like
This
that.
Way?
Yeah, her name is Sway, and she's amazing.
And what's she fishing for?
Multi-species. She fishes for like
California?
Yeah. She's here in Southern California, and she's one of my inspirations, and I look up to her so much.
And have you met her or fished with her?
I fished with her friends.
Oh yeah.
So we're all part of like a girls fishing group, and we all empower each other, and we all help each other, and we all like.
Wait, Fishing This Way. She's always fishing off the jetties?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I follow her on Instagram. Well, we follow her on Instagram as well.
Yeah.
She's like fishing every single day.
I do too. And that's the cool thing is like, you know.
She's catching lobsters on her rod and reel.
And crab.
Yeah.
I just saw the crab video and I'm like, you go, girl. Like, you rock. Yeah. Like, you know, I really look up to her, and, you know, Benji Kim has also helped me a lot.
He's awesome. His videos is
amazing.
Like, if there's any YouTube university for surf fishing and what to buy, like he's the guy that you want to go to. Like when you walk into a store and there's like a wall of Lucky Crafts and it's like, oh my God, which color do I buy? You look up his videos and he's right on point. He's really good.
Yeah, Benji is such an amazing person. He's an amazing mentor. He's an amazing, like, he's just amazing all over, and I really look up to him, and I deeply, deeply, deeply have respect for him. And, you know, knowing him, I haven't known him for long, but he's just been guiding me in the right direction on how to, you know, move and how to operate a social media platform such as my own, especially that I'm growing so quickly.
Yeah.
And also how to like negotiate the business side of the fishing industry and all of that. Benji is just an amazing person.
And it happened fast for you.
It happened like 2 months ago. I had 60 followers.
That's amazing.
And now I have, I think 6,500 and something. Yeah. So that's insane. I never thought this would ever happen.
Well, I think that's the power of influence. And as we were just talking about, women get into the sport of fishing. It's not that women were never in the sport of fishing. It just kind of seemed as if it was kind of like
It's
the back
taboo.
seat, right? The back seat, it's taboo. But now, again, with social media, as it's coming out, it's like more and more people are doing it. And it can sometimes be, I can imagine, and I can only imagine how intimidating stuff like that can be, right?
Yeah.
But then, you know, the more and more that you see it, because you even, like, you get into the sport, right? Like, even if you went onto a sport fishing boat and then you go down into, like, the bunks and it's like, oh,
It's all dudes.
Right.
it's all
It's all
dudes
big
and it's
dudes.
all in one area. And
Burly
it's just
dudes.
like, that can turn you away really fast.
Right.
But you know, I hope that, and I hope for the sake of the sport, the enjoyment, because we all get a kick out of it, right? It's
Right.
it's an adrenaline rush.
Right.
You're out there, like, everybody needs to enjoy it, no
Right.
matter who you are. And I think social media influencing and all those things are making it much more comfortable for people that may not necessarily be like originally associated with the sport to come out. So,
Right.
you know, I'm stoked the fact that, you know, you're here, you're blowing up really fast, and that's just a testament to, like, hey, there's more people like you that are probably wanting to learn more and do more with being outdoors, being out
Right.
here in Southern California and fishing.
Like for me, like I'm gonna get a little personal here, but you know, I am in recovery, like addiction recovery, and I do have like a disease called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and you know, I do have like I do suffer from like depression and stuff like that, and fishing is such an amazing outlet. Like it's you know, given me something to look forward to when I wake up in the morning. And it's given me like a whole new life and perspective on the world and just being outdoors in the sunshine.
Yeah.
Like even if I'm not catching fish, even if I'm getting skunked, for me it's just being outdoors is like
Yeah.
an antidepressant, and it takes away just like all of my sadness, and it's so amazing like just to be outside and the healing power of the ocean and
For
stuff
sure.
like that.
We're not meant to be in a cubicle for 9-10 hours a day.
Right.
That we're not really meant for that.
Yeah.
No.
You know, the other component, I think, to JoJo's point, you know, we've got girls, and we're girl dads, right? So he's got 2 girls, I got 2 girls, and I would love for them to like to love to do these things that I like. I like fishing and hunting. I like mostly hunting and shooting, but I go fishing. My point is that it's empowering to say, like, hey man, I can, if I had to, I can catch my own food. I just don't need the things that most people need.
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't need everybody to do everything for me.
Right.
And that part of it transcends gender, right? Like that's your spirit as a human being.
Yep.
To go and thrive in the outdoors.
Right.
So, you know, I think that's a component of it. And the other component of it, I think that's really cool, is getting good at something. Like becoming a master at it. Like your mentor, where he pulled out 4 legal halibut. You're like, dude, like in our world,
badass.
that's like somebody walking on water.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
And the funny thing is, I saw him throw like 3 of them back, and I'm like, why is he throwing
I didn't need
them
him.
back?
I didn't need him.
Because
I
they're
caught
too
the big
small.
one,
I'm
and
like,
I'll catch
oh
him
my
tomorrow.
gosh, yeah. It's crazy. Like on days that I skunk, I see him pull up halibut, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
What is he doing?
What is he doing? And I just sit there and I watch him, and I'm amazed. Like, you know what I mean? Like fishing, I noticed, is such an ego-driven sport, and it's like, oh, if you can catch, I need to catch, or you know, my fish is bigger than yours. But I just sit, like, if someone's catching like, you know, back to back to back, or if someone's catching like bigger halibut, I'm not sitting there like, oh, mine's dinky. I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, like what are they doing, and how can I learn from this?
Yeah.
That's how I view it.
That's awesome. And I'm super stoked for you that like you found kind of like the calling and being out there, because I mean that's one of those things that not many people really take the advantage of experiencing, right? Like all the stuff that we get, whether it's hunting, whether it's fishing, like you can start with that $20 rod, and it may break on you, but when you start to kind of go quality over quantity,
Right.
and then, you know, it doesn't take much to go out and actually do it.
Right.
And I'm always happy, and I've mentioned this on a couple of other shows. I mean, I'm surf fishing at beaches where there's people that have no idea about fishing, right? So they're looking at me like I'm freaking crazy fishing from the beach.
There's
they look at
nothing there.
fishing as
There's
like,
nothing there.
hey, you know, there's this stocked trout lake and this, and this. And, you know, when I've got a fish on the end of the line and I'm fighting it, and then I don't even notice because I'm concentrating on the fish, and then I bring it onto shore, and then I look back and I'm like, whoa. And there's a group of people. Like I've said it before, like I've gotten, it excites me to kind of share that experience with people because I want people to feel it, right? Like I want to advertise for the sport of fishing and being outdoors. And it's, I mean, God, you know, so stoked for you. Like it is medicine. It's medicine for you. It's medicine for me. It's medicine for everybody.
It's so healing and therapeutic. And that's why I love, you know, fishing and being outside.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've surfed for a long time. I've surfed for like pretty much my whole life. So I've, you know, that's also healing. You know, it's just being in touch with the water for me.
There's something about it.
Yeah.
Something about it.
You know, what's funny is, so ever since I moved here and I've been surf fishing, I always complain, especially around this time of year is when I really start going. I split up my outdoor activities by the season and what's in season. So right now it's gonna start to be surf fishing for me. So every weekend I'll be up early. I'll go down to the beach and I'll surf fish. And coming from Hawaii, like I go with short sleeves, board shorts, and I, you know, take off my slippers and I'm in the surf. But every session after an hour, I have to look down at my feet because it's like, are they gone? Because they get frozen. So this year, I actually I bought some surf fishing waders from Bass Dash.
Nice.
Yeah, so I haven't tried them out yet. They're still in the box, but this is going to be the first time because my wife kept on telling me, why don't you just buy waders and boots? And I'm like, no. Like surf fishing, I got to feel like I've got to be one with the sand. I need the skin touching the sand. But then my toes get frozen, and I don't know if it's like just because I'm getting older, but I've got some waders that I'm going to try out this season, so we'll see how that goes.
You know, I wear a wetsuit and booties.
Oh, yeah?
So I can go in as far as I want, and I don't have to worry about freezing. And then with the rocks and stuff, I just wear booties and stuff.
The surf booties.
I've never done that. I always thought, like, you know, I won't get cold enough to where, like, I go crazy. But honestly, like, sometimes there's times where I'm walking, and I'm like, I can't feel my feet for, like, 30, 40 minutes. Get back into my truck. I put, like, the heater on, and I'm just like, oh, man. Let me get some feeling in my toes.
So, Kat, where can our viewers find you? What's your handle?
My handle is the Hali Queen, and then on YouTube I'm the Hali Queen, and on TikTok I'm the Hali Queen.
Right on.
So that's where to find me.
Nice.
So what are your next adventures?
Tuna.
You're gonna learn how to fish.
I'm gonna learn how to tuna. I'm gonna continue learning surf fishing. And I just want to learn new things and keep growing and stuff and document my personal journey through, you know, learning different types of fishing.
Well, you go, girl, and hopefully we'll see you out on maybe the Independence or one of these boats hopefully soon.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for coming on board.
Yeah. I'm stoked to be here, and I'm stoked to, you know, share some of my experiences and stories, and also be here with you guys and talk fishing.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll stay connected. And I'll also throw out an invite. So for everybody that's out there, it is that time of year. It is springtime. And as you know, Langosta and myself are a part of the Redondo Rod and Gun Club. And coming up in May, just the perfect time for surf fishing.
Yes,
we
sir.
have the Redondo Rod and Gun Club 78th annual surf fishing tournament. So that's coming up May 24th through the 31st. So right next month, if you guys sign up, check out that QR code, slam that QR code. Check us out at RedondoRodAndGunClub.com. You can sign up for the surf fishing tournament. There's a lot of prizes, a lot of sponsors, and a bunch of different categories. So we got the surf perch category. We've got the yellowfin croaker, the spot fin croaker. We've also got the halibut category as well.
Okay.
So if you are a fisherman or a fisherwoman, make sure you sign up for the Redondo Rod and Gun Club Surf Fishing Tournament. Tons of prizes, and thank you to all of the sponsors that are out there. One of the things that I do have to let you know is that if you are signing up online, that we have our official Redondo Rod and Gun Club Surf Fishing Tournament tape. And as I pull this up here, I'm going to let you guys take note of where you guys can sign up along with picking up your surf fishing tournament tape. So a couple of tackle shops around Southern California. In Hawthorne, California, Best Fishing Tackle is a location that you can sign up for the surf fishing tournament. Island Fishing Tackle in Carson, Baja Fishing Tackle in Lomita, Eric's Fishing Tackle in Ventura. You've got Big Fish Bait and Tackle in Seal Beach, and down further south in San Diego, you've got Squid Co. So you guys can sign up for the Redondo Rod and Gun Club Surf Fishing Tournament, again, coming up May 24th to the 31st. And on the 31st, when the tournament concludes, we will be giving away the prizes.
And we have a barbecue and a party.
We've got a barbecue and a party, which is awesome.
We like to party at the Redondo Rod and Gun Club.
I always mention, you know, our club's been around since 1948, and at one point in time, there was actually 1,500 people that signed up.
Oh my God!
Yeah, no, there's pictures of people with a line across around the border, around the block.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're really stoked to have that. And also, too, for those of you that have kids out there that are wanting to get into, you know, fishing specifically, the Compton Hunting and Fishing Club has their annual Fish Expo for the youth coming up on May 31st. Okay, so you guys can go on down there, check out their website, check out their YEP program or their Youth Enhancement Program with the Compton Hunting and Fishing Club. That's coming up on May 31st, and that's also a great event. So there's so many things that are coming up.
Got to get out there, man.
It is time to fish the surf.
Yes.
And right now, the halibut specifically, they're out late spring into early fall. You know, they're coming in closer into the shore. They're coming into the shallow waters. They're spawning. They're trying to get it on. So they're having a great time, and they're fun to catch.
Yes, absolutely.
Because that's exactly what's happening.
Right.
There's love in the air.
There's love in the water.
There's love in the water.
Yeah, even those grunions, man. Those grunions.
Oh, don't get me started with the grunion.
Don't get me started with
Yeah. It's observation only right now. So.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching another episode. If you haven't done so already, make sure you follow Kat, the Hali Queen. And this is Langosta. Reminding you to make sure that you like and subscribe. JoJo?
Yeah, so like and subscribe to Rifles, Rods, and Broads on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Kat, the Hali Queen. Mahalo for joining us tonight. Great episode, and we'll continue to follow you on your journey.
Alrighty. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Bye, Hali Queen.
Bye, guys.
Say bye.
Aloha.